George Sawtooth here, up at the Lakeview Cemetery, Windsor, Colorado. Not sure why they call it the Lakeview Cemetery. I don't see a lake anywhere. And this is a weird cemetery. It doesn't give you much places to park. I didn't know where to park. But Lakeview Cemetery, Windsor. I was gonna go to the Half-Way House. It's the oldest structure in Windsor, Colorado. Windsor's oldest building, the 134-year-old Half-Way House. There's a lot of construction going on around that house, and there's a chain link fence around it. It says no trespassing. So I didn't want to do a video because there's a lot of heavy equipment too. I don't know what they're building over there. I don't know if they're building, adding on, or making that a museum. It was a small 2-room wooden building built with square handmade nails on what is now known as the Jacoby Farm along County Road 15. It was the only house for miles when it was built in 1873 by John Hilton. John Hilton, by the way, lost all of his teeth because of scurvy. So that's a lack of vitamin C, so make sure you get your vitamin C. Eat a lot of citrus fruit. I think even blueberries and strawberries have a lot of vitamin C. You don't get scurvy. It was established on the Overland Trail linking Greeley and Fort Collins. During its first few years, the Half-Way House was operated as an inn, a saloon, which is my favorite type of place, a saloon, a post office, and the area was known as Hiltonville. So that was all over there. That's just maybe a couple miles, maybe a mile and a half that way down this road. But like I said, I couldn't make a video of that Half-Way House. Too much construction going on, and a chain link fence all around it. So, and it's still there. That little 1873 house structure, Half-Way House. It's still there. I'm surprised they didn't knock it down. You know how we Americans tend, when something gets old, we tend to knock it down. Remember Mile High Stadium? We knocked that down and created what is now what was Invesco Field. I don't know what they call it now. And then the other day, about a year ago, I was talking to my brother, and he says, "Oh, they're going to knock down Invesco Field." I said, "That place is only 20 years old. This is the same age as my daughter." I said, "Why would they knock that down? It's just brand new." He says, "That's progress. You got to move on." I said, "That's no progress to me. That's kind of goofy." But that Half-Way House was used at least till 1882, when the Great Salt Lake and Pacific Railroad was completed. So that's too bad. The old Half-Way House, built 1873 by John Hilton. I'm not sure where John Hilton, I tried to see if I could find where he is buried. I don't know if he's buried in this cemetery or not. I know the people that bought that property after John Hilton, the wife is buried here, but I'm not sure where she is. But this is just going to be a short stroll through the Lakeview Cemetery, Windsor. And again, I don't see a lake, but aren't many trees in this cemetery. I think this cemetery dates back to around 1900, 1890, something like that. Just check out some few graves. Schneider, Mary Catherine and Alexander, 1884 to 1939, 1877 to 1937. Molly Lind Bender, if any of you Germans out there, Ruhe in Frieden, what does that mean? Molly Lind Bender, September 1913 to November 1937. This looks kind of an old one. Klaus. Adam, George, and Pete Klaus. Adam was the father, 1846 to 1923. George, 1882 to 1916. Pete, 1892 to 1919. There's a breeze blowing today, kind of chilly. This is an old grave here. Lemuel Laybourne died 1886, 61 years old. So this grave has been here since 1886. That's pretty amazing. Marble, feels like. Oh, Jacoby. That's the family that I believe took over that halfway house. Let's go see over there. This is the Brugg family plot. There's a few Bruggs here too. Jacoby. Jacob, 1882 to 1968. Anna Elizabeth, 1883 to 1973. So they own that farm too for a while. This is the Brugg. George, 1884 to 1969. Mary, 1885 to 1977. Oh, here's a Sandy Brugg, 1951 to 2019. Philip and Lydia, 1916 to 1965, 1915 to 1989. Molly and George, 1911 to 2005, 1905 to 1995. Effie Brugg, 1911 to 1991. And then here's Phyllis June Dare, 1938 to 2017. Here's an old grave here. Foster. Windsor has sure grown a lot. George Foster, 1833 to 1907. And then his wife Ellen, April 7th, 1837 to March 6th, 1903. Pretty old grave. And then here's GWF, that's George F. No, yeah, George W. Foster. And then this must be his wife over here, Ellen. I wonder if they didn't put any. Oh, see, so her engravings on this have decayed over the years. There's a sugar factory. There's so many sugar factories that was part of the early 1900s up to the 1960s, 70s in Colorado. Loveland has a sugar factory. Windsor has a sugar. Longmont had a sugar factory. Johnstown had a sugar factory. I'm sure there are others that I'm missing. There's only one still operating in this region, and that's Fort Morgan. Fort Morgan, Colorado, my hometown. Esther McCullough Spencer. She was called blessed by her children. Well, let's see, she was born in July 11th, 1903, and then died in July 1st, 1976. Russell E. Laughlin, U.S. Marine Corps, Korea, 1930. So now look at that, and here's another one. He was born December 27th, 1930, and then died the year that he was on the same month that he was born, December 7th, 1986, December to December. Here's another old grave. Kelso, William and Margaret. Didn't realize Margaret was such a popular name. My mom's name was Margaret, but I never knew any other Margarets, just her. William 1829 to 1902. Margaret 1840 to 1911. I tell you, when I drove through Windsor, a lot of I don't recognize. There is so much new development, so many new buildings. It just amazes me how time marches on. This world is leaving me behind. I'm still stuck in the past. Josephine Davidson Guthrie, 1894 to 1990. She lived a long time, didn't she? I think that sugar factory's pretty. I think it was built in 1903, 1902, something like that. Shut down in 1966. Here's a cool grave. I like this. They must have been cattle farmers. Dairy people, huh? Maybe. Bill and Pat Schutz. Bill G, 1932 to 2018. Patricia's still alive. She's still hopping around the bunny trail on this planet. Weller. Okay, so this lady here, Margarita Weller. So the Weller people bought that farm from Hilton, that halfway house, 1873. She was the very first person buried in this cemetery, Margarita, I think that's how you say it, Margarita Weller. So they owned it, and then Jacoby took it over after these people did. But it was the Weller farm for a while. And she was the first person buried here in this cemetery. And here's her husband, Edward Weller. He was only 53 years old. Died August 21st, 1888. She died September 14th, 1885. He lived about 3 years after she died. She was only 58 years old. Yep. I'll have to come back to all these cemeteries when it's green and there's leaves on the trees. It's much more beautiful. I kind of don't understand why some of these cemeteries don't put more of a parking area. I know the Fort Lupton Cemetery, I was pretty impressed with their parking lot. It was kind of blacktopped. Dots. That's a cool, I like the name Dots. Let's go check this one out. Virgil Leonard. December 10th, 1927 to March 2nd, 2004. Yeah. You can always tell the older ones. This looks like an older one to me too. And it was just a young boy, Arthur H. Simon. November 4th, 1928 to August 23rd, 1929. Wasn't even a year old. So, this is my theory. I'll probably be excommunicated from the church with this theory. But when I think when babies die, I think they come back. I think they get a second chance at life. Paul Donald Schwarzkopf, 1923 to 1925. So see, he was 2 years old, or not even 2 years old. William Schwarzkopf, it must have been his son. 77th Infantry, World War II, 1918 to 1944. I wonder where the mom is. She doesn't look like she's here. And there's Pete, John Petrie, 1901 and 1966. Someday we shall meet again. Brenneman, Gottlieb, Josephine, and Walter G. 1926, 1934, 1921. Those are all fairly old graves. That's a Gottlieb. That's a very unique name. So now Gottlieb is the father, mother Josephine, and the son Walter. Evans. Here's another Evans. Probably not related to the old governor Evans, the territorial governor of Colorado in the 1860s. But you never know. Ida, 1882 to 1945, and Thomas, 1873 to 1957. Another Schwarzkopf. There's a Schwarzkopf over there, remember? William, 1884 to 1961, son, 1922 to 19... He must have died in the war. World War II, 157th Infantry. Because 1944, he must have died while in service. Schmidt, grandmother Mary, grandfather, 1864 to 1949, 1864 to 1951. They were born right around the Civil War ending. Cowley, William H., 1883 to 1949. Julia, 1882 to 1953. Harry Lee Wilcox. They don't put a year on this for some reason. Grandson. Harry Lee Wilcox. William H. Jr., 1914 to 1917. All right, the sun was shining a lot nicer earlier today. There's my FJB Toyota pickup over there, FJB edition. This one, it's so weathered away you can't even read it. It must be very old. This is weird here. It's almost like there was a recent burial here. Wonder what the deal is here. It's right next to this older grave. Huh. It's very interesting, and there's a lot of space here that's not used. Wonder what the story is here. Let's go look at this. Winemaster. Jacob Jr., 1898 to 1983. Molly, 1906 to 1970. Winemaster. The train tracks are still here. Go up, check out a couple different graves and call it a day, go home. I should go to a saloon. Louis G, R.G. and L.J. Bates died January 16, 1886. And I can't read that bottom writing. 1 year old, son of, so yeah, just a bit, Louis G, son of R.G. and L.J. Bates. Is it in my eyes, or is this thing? Yeah, look at it, it's moving in the wind. They need to do something. Get that thing attached to its base a little bit better, or it's gonna fall off. All right, let's go look at one more. My nose is starting to run in this cold wind, and like I said in a previous video, once it starts running, I can't catch it. I've lost so many noses. Fortunately, I buy them on Amazon for cheap, so once one runs away, I just have a few that I buy on Amazon. I just put them back on again. Belinsky, that's kind of a cool name. Paula, 1943 to 2013, and Terry, he's still living. July 20th, 1940. Alice Rhodes, 1881 to 1935. One more old grave. My husband, Edgar Hayner. Looks like Edgar Hayner, July 5th, 1885. He was only 42 years old, 42 years old and 4 months. All right, guys. Leave any comments. If you have any comments, just leave them. Enjoy your days. You're on this side of the ground. Live every moment. God bless. Take care. From Lakeview Cemetery, Windsor, Colorado. Bye.